Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the show today. I am your host, Becky Auer, and today I'm so excited to have my guest, Ann Ernette, with me. She owns Harmony Divorce Solutions, and Ann has over 37 years in the financial services industry, and she's a certified divorce financial analyst. She is also certified as a collaborative financial neutral for those deciding to use collaborative divorce process, the collaborative divorce process, and is also a trained mediator to be able to handle your divorce through mediation if that's what you prefer. So welcome to the call, Ann. I'm so glad to have you.
Hi, Becky. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm telling you, after I read that to all of our listeners, you certainly probably can really help people through divorce, whatever that looks like, unfortunately.
Yes. It is an unfortunate instance, but we can all get through it and move on.
And I know there's a lot of people, these days with everybody having to, be in their homes and things like that probably, are searching for some answers. So tell us a little bit about Harmony Divorce Solutions and how you're helping your clients.
Well, I created Harmony Divorce Solutions to give those that find themselves in that unfortunate situation a peace of mind and a little bit of direction of how to go through the process. There's people, when they're going through the process or they're contemplating it, they have all these question marks in their mind. It's like I picture a cartoon where people's got these question marks above their head and don't know what to do. And I think I clarify those question marks for people. And how I do that is I give them a clear and a concise direction to go in with financial options to move forward with.
Well, I think so many people need that. I mean, look, I went through divorce. I know, in our conversation before this, you went through divorce. And, hopefully you only have to go through divorce once, maybe twice in your lifetime. But it's kind of like buying a house, right? You probably only buy a house once in your lifetime. So when you start to even maybe contemplate divorce, there's so many, things you do have all sorts of questions and you don't know who to turn to. So, so it's nice to have people like you and like your company that you can reach out to and just, ask those questions. So for the people who are listening, can you explain, some of the benefits and some of the advantages of, possibly using a certified divorce financial analyst? To be honest, I didn't even know that was an option when I was going through divorce. So tell us a little bit about what that is and what the advantage would be of using someone like yourself who is a certified divorce financial analyst.
I think the biggest advantage is actually laying out a plan. Having a clear budget, knowing, first of all, what you need to live on. And then you can move forward on how do you separate this household budget with assets and liabilities into two different ones, and still you still have the same amount of money coming in, and now you're trying to decide how to live on that separately, that same amount. And it's a difficult procedure, but I can show them how to move forward with that. It's not always a happy thing, and a lot of times there are sacrifices to make, but I think, I can show them the true value of how the split is with tax consequences and what the true value of each asset is, and what it would be according to different decisions that you make with those assets.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think when people, you're so shook up that you're going through divorce anyway, that you don't really think about those tax consequences. And I know just going through my divorce and, having a lawyer, we never once talked about that. And I had a lawyer and a business valuation person. And so do you replace a lawyer?
No. And that is one thing that a lot of people ask me, why do I need a lawyer if I have you? And what I tell them is, I do the financial side. I know how the law impacts that, and I know how taxes impact that. But first and foremost, I don't give legal advice. So you do need the lawyer. What I do, though, is because I'm figuring out your financial situation and I'm giving you clear and concise direction to go forward, that gives you less time with your attorney, who is going to charge a higher fee. And so you want to limit your time with the attorney and just do the law with the attorney. And they'll do the documents for you, and they'll file the documents for you, but that limits your time with them. That way you're all set and you're prepared when you first go in to see them.
Right, I got you. So if a lawyer might be charging $300 an hour, you're less than that, you can kind of get everything set up and make it up into a neat, tidy package that I can go and then present to the lawyer without having to pay the lawyer all that time that you put into it, getting it together. Is that right?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Yeah, so I didn't even know I had that option. So, A, that's amazing, and B, well done. I note in your title, you're a certified divorce financial analyst. Does that take a while to get? Or, there's a certification process, I assume.
There is a certification process, and it depends on the time you have to put in it. It is self-study, but there are different sections to go through, and you pass each section. Sort of, if anybody's familiar with how a CPA goes through and gets their CPA certification, it's the same thing. You go through different modules and you learn it. The advantage of having the financial background that I had was just reading through it and getting through the exam because I've experienced so much of it before.
Right. And we didn't really even touch on that. Tell us a little bit. You said you have 37 years of in the financial services industry, correct? Yes. Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's been a long journey. Yes, but I started in banking. Funny thing people don't know, I actually have an associate's degree from the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. And
oh my gosh.
Yes, and in my jumping from kind of job to job in that, when I was unemployed at one time, I had this job search agency call me and say, I know this isn't your field, but there's this local bank looking for a teller. And I went, oh, all right. Well, that's something to do in the meantime. I ended up thoroughly enjoying working with people rather than sitting in a cubbyhole doing graphic arts, to tell you the truth. And that just kept me going. And I went from, being a teller to specializing in IRAs to opening new accounts to doing marketing for a financial planning firm at one time.
Wow.
And that led me to become licensed in securities. And that led me to do 401k plans. And then that led me to go off and just be a financial consultant in the banking world. And I did that for quite some time. And then about 6 years ago, just went totally independent and became a financial advisor to my own book of business. And it's just been a journey from there.
Yeah, you bet. Well, congratulations. That's for someone who does not love numbers like you love numbers, I always am in awe of those people. So congratulations on that.
I laugh when people say that because I really don't love numbers, but I love working with people.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. I love that statement.
Yeah.
Well, tell us, when tell us some of the common misconceptions, when do you work primarily with women, I assume?
Primarily, that's who comes looking for the advice.
Okay.
Because, let's be honest, in a lot of households, one spouse or the other usually handles the finances, and it's typically the man. And so a lot of times the women say, well, I don't want to know anything about it, or I just don't know anything about it. And so that's typically who comes to look for the advice. It's not always, but most of the time.
Yeah, you bet. So then share with us some of the common misconceptions that women going through divorce have about using a certified divorce financial analyst.
Well, like you said, Becky, first and foremost, I think, is people don't know we're even out there to help them.
Right.
That's probably the first thing. The second thing is probably that they feel that we, as a financial analyst, are going to solve all their issues. We're going to tell them, this is how it's going to be, and we're going to side with one spouse or the other. Whether you're the one that's hiring us or not, we're gonna side with you. And that's not necessarily true. As a certified divorce financial analyst, we want to make sure that it's fair to both parties. I do anyway. I am also as you said, as a financial neutral in the collaborative divorce process, and I carry that through the CDFA. I feel that even though one's helping me, I am making it as fair as I can for both. I don't side with one or the other, and so as they say, tell it like it is. There's reality out there that you have to look at when you're moving forward with a divorce, and that has to come into the discussion.
Right, for sure. Yeah, and it's such a hard time. Everybody's on edge, so I give you a lot of credit for being able to help people through that, because it's so emotional most of the time, and all of that. So kudos to you. Well, share with our audience some of the common fears that, let's just say, women have going through divorce, and that they have about possibly using a certified divorce financial analyst if and when they find you. So what are some of their common fears?
Well, probably one of the first fears is the cost. Why don't I let the attorney just include it in their fees? Because now this is an additional cost I'm looking at. That being the case, as I said before, I don't give legal advice, so I would prefer attorneys not give financial advice. Some of them do, and I don't know that that's the best way to go. I think that you need somebody who's been in the financial industry to know what's right. I think another fear is that they're worried that it's going to be on their comprehension. These numbers are going to fly around out there, and they're not going to be able to absorb or understand something that I'm telling them. And I can tell women that one of the things that I enjoy doing is educating my clients, even my financial clients. Education is a big part. If they want to know about it, I'm going to tell them about it. If they don't, I'll make it as vague as possible, but they're still going to learn something by the time they walk out of my office.
Yeah, no, I love that, because you're right. I think most are afraid of that.
Yes. I can also say that one thing that they should keep in mind when you're going through a divorce, and this kind of affects, what are other people going to think about what I'm doing? I'm going through a divorce, and some people are going to think that's absolutely terrible, and but they don't understand your situation, and they absolutely don't know your financial situation. So you kind of want to block those people out. You don't want to let the noise get in the way, and just deal with your financial expert and your lawyer, and let them help you through this. This is your life, not theirs.
That's exactly right. And I always feel like as long as I'm equipped with the information, I can move forward. But if you go in blind, then you're just trusting somebody that, might not have your better interest at heart.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. You don't want to end up going through the process, like you said, blind, but, almost herding cattle through a process. That's not what you want with your divorce process.
Right. Well, share, too, some of the, are there common mistakes you see women going through divorce make on the road to, choosing between a lawyer versus a certified divorce financial analyst if they know they're available?
I think some of the common mistakes are not they're a mistake. They're not maybe not asking the right questions because they don't know what they don't know.
That's right.
When you get the fear involved, it kind of clouds decisions, and you need someone to help you see through those decisions. And in most cases, when you see something in black and white, like the charts and things that I can produce for you, when you see projections of what your income might look like 5, 10, 15 years down the road, that's better than just having an attorney say, well, the other spouse is offering you this. Do you think you want to take it? Well, how do you know? You don't know, because
that's right.
You haven't studied to see, what you're going to deal with in the future and what those numbers look like.
Yeah, right. And what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah, writing it on a pad of paper does not make it very clear.
Right. Well, give us an example of how maybe you help one of your clients. You don't have to share their name or anything, but just an example of how you helped your clients, maybe overcome some of these obstacles and, have success using, you and your services.
Dealing with women most of the time, I'd say that most women, and I'm going to generalize a little bit, is they come to me with sometimes nothing in their hands. I had a woman who was very good because she actually did a lot of the finances in the house, and she came to me with a lot of information. When I first talk to anyone, woman or man, I give them a list of things that I'll need to look at. And she was very good. She had quite a bit of it already with her the first time we saw each other. And she really, it ended up, once I filtered through what she didn't need and what she needed, and showed her, this is the income coming in. Here's your budget you showed me. Here's everything that you told me that you spend on a monthly basis. Here's what you need to live. So this is kind of the split that you can ask for. And then I showed her the money he was bringing in and how he could compensate her, because you have to make sure that even though it's one spouse might need it, the other spouse might not have it to give to them. And that way, putting everything out there, I helped her see, where she was at. She was very, very grateful and she felt she had the power now to actually go and stand on her own 2 feet and say, I think I deserve this, and I think this is what I need to live on.
Yeah, that's great. It is, when you have that information, it's hard to, be able to, it just gives you confidence, right? Walking into that office then you're armed with everything that you need. So I can see how that would really, help a lot of people, especially women who, you're right, a lot of times don't handle the financial aspect of, day-to-day living. Well, tell us a little bit about your background on, I know you were in the financial industry. What inspired you to become a certified divorce financial analyst?
Well, I was at a networking event one time, and another financial advisor said, oh, I'm a certified divorce financial analyst. And at that time, in the back of my head, I was contemplating divorce. I had contemplated it several different times, but at that time when she said that, I thought, oh, that's interesting. Tell me a little bit more about it. And she did, and that just kind of triggered, this is something that I want to do. I found out that being in the banking industry doing financial consulting, there was a restriction on not being able to do it. So once I went independent, and I had already been divorced at that time when I went independent, I thought, this is my time. I know what I went through. I know the emotions I went through. I know that even though I had, at the time, 30 plus years of background in the financial industry, everything was cloudy. I didn't know what questions to ask my attorney. And so I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this so that I know I can tell other people the questions to ask the attorneys and be armed with the financial information. I talked about the pad of paper. And when I was studying this certified divorce financial analyst position, as I was reading a few things, I got thinking back on my situation. And I thought, that pad of paper he wrote all this information on, and I agreed to it, was not the best way to go. So I speak from personal experience when I say it's not the best way to go. Years later, when my spouse retired, I found out that the split on the pension that I took was not really explained as clearly as it should have been by my attorney. The other thing that stuck out in my mind going through my process was when I walked out of the courthouse and everything was final, I said to the attorney, I don't know how I'm going to do this moving forward. And his only statement was, you're going to do it just like every other divorced woman has done it. And I thought, wow, that doesn't tell me anything.
Wow.
Really. And I had to go back and rethink that and think, okay, you're a financial advisor. Okay, what would you advise somebody to do? Go look at your budget, look at your investments, and see where you go from here. I mean, and so that really, as I was studying, thinking back on my situation, really solidified the fact that this is what I need to do. And I think everyone needs to be prepared ahead of time.
Wow, what an important lesson and motivation, right, to help other people going through the exact same situation. I am telling you, my divorce took 4.5 years, and had I known there was someone out there like you, I 100% would have used them, because the lawyers were so expensive, and I swear they called just to talk, to be able to charge up your time. It's craziness. Wow. Well, what do you think is the most important thing that women who are going through divorce should consider when they start to, maybe they've heard this interview now? What do you think they should consider when they evaluate or reach out to, choose a certified divorce financial analyst?
Sure. they need to think about who they feel comfortable with. I tell people when they're interviewing a financial advisor the same thing. Interview them, talk to them, decide, do I feel comfortable with a man or do I feel comfortable with a woman? Will that person, location-wise, maybe this is important to you, they come to me, or do I want someone local? Or does it matter? It might not matter. It might be, I just want someone who knows what they're doing, and it doesn't matter whether I have to travel or they have to travel. Ask the financial advisor or the Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, do you charge for traveling? I don't know if a lot of people are aware of, but attorneys, if they have to cross county lines, a lot of times charge for travel. So ask your Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, do they? That's something to consider. Talk to other people. Everybody has friends who are divorced. I mean, with a 50% divorce rate out there, somebody who's been through a divorce. And did they use the Certified Divorce Financial Analyst? If they did, what were the advantages? What did they feel the advantages are? And if they didn't, how do they feel about their attorney doing the financials for them? Get as much information from your friends that you can. There's a website that when you study to be a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, it's actually sponsored by a organization called the Institute of Divorce Financial Analysts. And we are all listed on that website. It's IDFA, so it's www.idfa. Even if you Google IDFA or you Google Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, it should take you, one of your choices should be to take you to that website, because then you can find people in your area. They give you a little bit of profile, they give you a little bit of location, contact information, and call a couple of them and sit down and talk with them. That's actually, some good ways to find somebody who fits you. You want to make sure it's somebody that you can actually talk to, be honest with, open with, Yeah,
because, right, you're sharing all your dark uglies with them. So, and just
sure.
Do most of the CDFAs, or do you give like a strategy session or, a half-hour consultation or anything?
Most do. Some will do the half-hour strategy session over the phone. Some will do the strategy session in person. Some will take that half an hour, say, free consultation or strategy session, and they'll take it off their first hourly billing when they start doing work for you. So everybody does it a little bit different, but yes, most give you some type of free 30 minutes, free hour, whatever it is. But yes.
Yeah, that's good to know, because, if you interviewed 3, I would just say, you're going to be more comfortable with one over the other 2, and it's a big decision.
Sure it is. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, I so appreciate you being on with me today. Can you share with our listeners how somebody can find out more about you, Miss Mary Ann Ernette, and about Harmony Divorce Solutions, and possibly how you can help them? So share your website or how you'd prefer they get in touch with you.
Sure, Becky. My website is www.harmonydivorcesolutions.com. You can reach me by calling my cell phone. Most people make the phone call first, and that's 412-874-5892. Or they can send me an email. We'll eventually be emailing each other anyway, and that is Marianne at harmonydivorcesolutions.com.
And is Ann, is it ANN or ANNE?
It's ANN.
Okay. All right. Well,
Okay.
you heard it here first. And unfortunately, if you're listening to this, maybe you're, contemplating divorce or going through divorce or didn't even know that there was such a thing as a certified divorce financial analyst. But feel free to reach out to Mary Ann and Harmony Divorce Solutions to, help with the process or, answer some questions for you. That is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you, Mary Ann, for being on with me. My name is Becky Auer, and I can't wait to see you in the spotlight.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.